I realized really quickly that in life, if you don't take action, nothing is going to happen. I find so many folks, especially young people, they're like, oh, I don't know if I'm qualified. You'll know. You'll know when you get into it. I made myself disposable on purpose. So I made it that I didn't need to be there, that I hired the best of the best. If you are the center of everything you're doing, that's a bad thing. But I'm telling you, people will take a bullet for you. If they believe in you and what you're doing, they will go to the ends of the earth with you. I want the best people, man.
Right.
I don't care who you are. It became evident that the problem that we were trying to solve is absolutely relatable to everyone, but that women gravitated more towards a solution than men did. The trick is you really have to foster your community. They will sell your product for you. Protect your equity. Do whatever it takes to protect your equity. Because if you give away the whole company at day one, if you make it to Series A, D, whatever, I'm not kidding, you're going to walk away with a $500,000 check.
Today we have Jarrod with us, and Jarrod is the co-founder of Eeva, a startup aimed at transforming home management for busy families. With over 15 years of leadership experience in operation and strategy, Jarrod also serves as a corporate board and enjoys mentoring others. Jarrod, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm very much looking forward to our discussion.
Wonderful. So this is how we go. Tell us about your early days, your first corporate stint, and then you rose up to the ladder, right? So tell us your journey and any pivotal moment that led you to start your first company.
All right. So I am not very conventional, shall we say, in terms of I wasn't the type of individual that went through your traditional school and then got into some place, got a good job and a good opportunity. Actually, quite the opposite. I started in a very, very, very junior position, funny enough, at McGill University here in Montreal. And I realized really quickly that in life, if you don't take action, nothing is going to happen. And I created this kind of motto of when opportunity knocks, answer the door. It doesn't mean you have to go through the door, but to at least answer the door. And so from a very young age of maybe 22, 23, something like that, an opportunity arose to become a supervisor within McGill University in the biomedical research unit. So
Interesting.
This foundational research that was taking place. And so I was like, you know what? And so I applied, I ended up getting the job, and I realized really quickly, I had like 2 or 3 staff members, something like that. It was a small unit. And I realized really quickly that I don't know anything about leadership. I'm a kid, right? Like I'm super young, still going to school. I'm like, now all of a sudden I have, a 62-year-old that reports to me and 2 people in their 40s. And I just realized like, I don't actually know what I'm doing. And so started taking a lot of night classes on management. And fast forward a couple of years, and I realized I got introduced to this concept, and that's a huge story, but whatever, of something called lean thinking. You may know it as Six Sigma. You may know it as agile, continuous improvement, this concept of continuous improvement. And so I fell in love with that. And I applied that to the biomedical research facility that I was running at around that time. I had been given the opportunity to run another 2 units. I think it was something like that.
Okay.
And we transformed all of these facilities, increasing the efficiency. People were thrilled. And I started to realize that it wasn't continuous improvement I liked. It was leadership. I really liked having a say in the decisions that could impact people's lives in a positive way. Wow. And fast forward again a few years, and an opportunity arose to basically run 5 of the 7 research facilities at McGill University. At that point, I was like basically promoted into running the entire continuous improvement program for the whole biomedical research unit at McGill. I decided at this point, I should probably get an MBA, because now I'm starting to get, higher and higher into the organization.
Right.
I met a really awesome guy here at the university, and he basically introduced me to consulting. And so I opened a consulting business at the same time as I was doing a full-time MBA while I was working full-time.
Amazing.
And when that finished and I graduated, got my MBA, opportunity knocked again. This time it was to take over the full research program at McGill University with the biomedical research program, which is one of the largest in Canada. And so I said, let's go. And amazing. And so, so I became one of the youngest directors running that whole program. And it's normally veterinarians or PhDs that run these programs, not people with like the background that I have. In parallel to this, I also co-founded, I was one of the founding members of a nonprofit in biomedical research, but it was to do with operational excellence. So in biomedical research, it's very secretive. Like, people don't really talk about what they do. And some places have brilliant processes. And so we basically did something about it. We created a nonprofit based in Boston, and now we have membership from all over the world. I'm the president of the organization. So I do that. Then there was the McGill thing, and the McGill thing didn't end. After the director, they asked me to become an advisor for the entire faculty of medicine.
Wow.
So it's pretty crazy. And all of this is to do with just knocking, when an opportunity arises, never being nervous about it. Like, always look into it. I find so many folks, especially young people, they're like, oh, I don't know if I'm qualified. You'll know when you get into it. As long as you keep a little bit of humility and you look in the mirror and you realize, you know what? I don't have the skill set to do this today. Well, guess what? Get the skills.
Right. Wonderful. I believe that you've been wearing multiple hats, right? And weren't you scared that if you go for a next opportunity parallel to this, you'll be losing grip on this, on your previous stint? Because I talk to people from my cohort, right? I talk to entrepreneurs as well. They talk about the fear being a real thing, right? You're already doing something significant. Next opportunity knocks in, right? And now you want to go into the next opportunity, parallelly managing your previous workload. So how did you do that? If you can talk about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I realized when I started to just get into, let's say, mid-management, let's around there, when I started to do that, I'm the type of guy, I go to all kinds of different networking events. You can see I'm a big goofball. I like using humor as a way of calming people down, and it makes you more and more authentic, which is a great thing. Right. And here's the secret. I made myself disposable on purpose. So I made it that I didn't need to be there, that I hired the best of the best of the best. I put together teams that people still talk about. Like, they're like, oh, this was the best team I ever worked for. that's the trick. So that when I'm not there, or if I'm taking other opportunities, sure, you notice, right? Of course you notice. You're like, oh, I wish Jarrod was here today because like we could brainstorm or whatever. But the company is not going to fall apart just because I'm off doing something else. And I tried to make that in every role I've ever been in. If you are the center of everything you're doing, that's a bad There's a famous saying, and I'm going to butcher it because I always do.
Please.
But it's, you want to work on your business. You never want to work in your business. And this is one of the biggest problems entrepreneurs have.
I want to take that line.
But that's the thing.
Wonderful. So we'll jump into your startup stint, but I have few questions that kind of lingers around the WhatsApp community and Facebook community. I'm going to ask that because I saw that you have good experience in the change management. Now, what I have seen from my experiences, whenever there's a change about to be applied in an organization, right? There's an internal conflict starts because no one wants the change straight away, right? If I'm working in a certain pattern, if I'm working in a certain way, I don't want the change in my work. I don't want the change in my pattern because that kind of unsettles a lot of people. So, of course, you as a expert, you as a change expert, how did you go about and apply successfully? Apply this change management successfully in these, let's say, mid corporation or large corporation where there's internal restrictions, right? Internal conflicts. So, how did you do that?
Very easily. And and that's not Jarrod. It's not me. Okay. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, it is not me.
Okay.
The thing is, what happens as you go up, okay? Like as your businesses get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, you end up with lots of red tape. You've all heard this. All your listeners, everyone has heard the red tape.
Right.
It's real, okay? Here's the trick. And I'm not kidding. It is this easy. Start with the people before you announce the change. So for example, let's say you're redoing all of human resources at your unit. Let's say they were like offshoots or something like that. Let's say it was like finance was offshoots or silos and you want to consolidate everything and bring everything into a centralized function. The very first thing I'm going to do before I announce it, before I do anything, I'm going to go to those people. We're going to do brainstorming. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight with those people what is working, what isn't working, what are some of the pain points, and what are some of the solutions. And I guarantee you, someone in that room is going to say, this would work so much better if we were all under one roof.
Perfect. Yes.
And I didn't come up with that. You came up with that. And the minute you come up with the solution, you're going to see night and day difference between successful change implementations and those change implementations that fail. It is one of the biggest things I used to consult on because corporations, typically larger ones, just suck at talking to their people. And I get it. I totally get it. I don't know if any of you listening or watching have worked with large corporations, but God, let's say your headquarters is in India. Okay. What does the senior leadership know anything about what's happening in Quebec, in Canada? Right? They're not. Come on, it's impossible, right? And so these are the things. I used to take the CEO or the C-suite and say, come with me. We're going to get on an airplane. We're going to go fly down there. See this, what I'm wearing? Get rid of it. I want you to come in with just, if you want to wear a button shirt, wear a polo, wear whatever, ditch the blazer. Because I'm going to introduce you to people that wear t-shirts and jeans all day. You don't want to come in there, like the big boss. And the minute you start to do these kinds of things, it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. But the minute you start to do this, it's that authenticity. It's that genuine. And that's it. And I'm telling you, people will take a bullet for you. if they believe in you and what you're doing, they will go to the ends of the earth with you. Not for you. They'll go with you.
A lot of insights. So
I hope so.
Definitely. So, Rob, you talked about authenticity. You talked about now inclusivity. So, I've heard few of the leaders. I mean, like a lot of leaders talking about the diversity in their team, inclusivity in their team. So, do you think that having a diversity and inclusivity have increased your productivity in your team? Does it happen to you?
100%.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
100%.
Okay.
So you have to be open with yourself. Okay. And when I say this to everybody listening, it's really, if you are in a leadership role or you want to get into a leadership role, you have to understand what is diversity. What right now, I've seen so many token positions especially in boards, right? Where it's, let's be honest, it's a bunch of white men. And then there'll be like one female or one ethnic background individual or something like that. And they're like, yeah, see, look at us. We're diverse. That is not what diversity is. Diversity is where you no longer really even talk about it. Like it's part of your corporate culture.
Right.
Like it's part of everything that you do. Like we at Eeva, we don't even talk about diversity. Yet the company is like 70% female, 30% male. We have people of all walks of life. And did we do that on purpose? No, we just hired the best of the best of the best. Wonderful. I don't care where you come from. I care that you're a good fit for my culture. Like you know, if we want to build a really good team that you fit in that culture. If you don't, you're out. Like immediately you're gone. I don't care who you are, what your skills are. I don't care about any of it. When I hire and when Adrian hires, we hire for fit. That is the number one thing. Because I can send you to courses for Python. I can send you to, but I can't send you on culture fit. That's never going to happen. You're either going to have it or you're not going to have it. And so the whole thing with diversity is it has to be part of who you are. I hate when companies are like, oh, well, we can't hire that candidate because they don't fall into this particular bucket that we're looking for this month. That's ridiculous to me. That is not helping anyone. Diversity should really be embedded. And look at what we're doing at Eeva. It's crazy. We're almost at a team of 20 people now. And we're one of the most diverse teams in a startup that I know of. And it's ridiculous because we don't even try. It's the fact that Adrian and I are both authentic people. I want the best people, man.
Right.
I don't care who you are.
So kind of it comes from the leader itself. I believe since you have the belief in hiring the best, right? And best comes in all form, right? So basically you have kind of naturally included that diversity in your team, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful. And you encourage that discussion, you encourage that inclusivity. So diversity came naturally to you and your team. Perfect. Wonderful. So now let's discuss about your latest 10, Eeva, right?
Sure.
As I said, I've downloaded the app and everyone watching this, it's a fantastic UI. You should try it, right? And now a lot of questions here because I was very curious. I know what the app does. This is for our viewers, right? What is the one pain point you're trying to solve through this app, through this technology? What is the one major thing?
I'm going to answer you, but I'm going to preface something.
Oh, please
just for everybody, because, okay, so everybody, best thing you could ever hope for, okay, is to answer that question in a single word. Now, that is so difficult to do, okay? It is so difficult to do. If I throw that question back to you and we say Nike, what is the one pain point that Nike is trying to... Yeah, one word. Go.
Comfort?
Okay. Sure. Okay, so it's hard, right? Like
It's hard.
it's very hard to do this. And companies like Nike will spend millions and millions of dollars in branding and in marketing.
Right.
Because the thing is they diversify, right? So they do so many different things that it becomes very difficult to get to that one word. At Eeva, when you spoke about during the intro, you were saying like home management. Here's what we're really trying to do. We're trying to make adulting just a little bit easier. That's it. That's all it is that when you leave your parents' home, when you have your first kid, when you buy or rent your first property, it is a bloody nightmare because school does not teach you how taxes work. It doesn't teach you about warranties and how all that stuff works, about all the information of the home and your personal life. Like it's ridiculous. Like at work, you would never be expected to buy a filing cabinet in 2024. Are you kidding? And so that's really what it is like, it's not about the home. It's adulting. It's really trying to help people be better adults. That's all it is. And it's tough, man. It's really tough. Trust me, I've been an adult for a while. It's not easy.
Definitely. So, I mean, you're saying that your target customers are adults.
Yeah. So if you want to talk business, now we can talk business. Okay. So everybody knows you have personas, right? The very first early adopter for Eeva truly is going to be much more female focused. Okay. Why? Because as much as we like to say that the world is becoming more equal and more diverse, the truth is when we did our research, which we could talk about later, we interviewed thousands of people. And it became evident that the problem that we were trying to solve is absolutely relatable to everyone, but that women gravitated more towards a solution than men did. And so the targeted demographic is really, say, like, young female professionals that are really, who consider themselves the owner of the home. That's our early adopter right now. Now we're in open beta. So you said you downloaded it right now. It's still in open beta because we have a lot of little kinks that we're working out. We can talk about more later on, but that's
for sure.
That's the main persona that we're after. But the truth is, it's applicable to everyone. We had in our current beta that we're running, we have a student that just moved out. And I love what he said. It was awesome. He was like, the potential of Eeva is like having mom with me everywhere I go. And I love that. I love that.
Very interesting. So we'll go a bit deep into it, right? Wonderful concept, first of all, and congratulations to you guys on doing awesome job. Now, a step back from here. How did you evaluate the concept? I know you've already spoken into it. Just tell us a bit more insight so that people who are building the platform, since I'm building a tech platform.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who are building similarly like me. They'll pick insights from here. So tell us, how did you validate the market?
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
And one more question, sorry.
Yeah.
How did you validate the market? And I mean, how did you understood that it is going to solve a pain point of the people, how it's solving a real problem? I know you've already touched upon it. Just give us a bit more insight.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so number one, be very careful when, including you, be careful when you start building something, okay? Everybody does this. What we're doing, and especially me as just as a person, tell me I can't do something and watch what happens. I love that. But the truth is, like, going out to like investors and all people like that, I have heard the same things over and over, and I am going to give you advice. So a VC, so a venture capitalist, an investor, is going to tell you, work on the product, work on the product, work on the product. That is full of it. Okay? Because number one, we're going to answer your first question here, which is, where does this come from? Okay, so you have an idea.
Right.
How do you prove anybody cares? Right? Like, really, what do you do? Like, what tangibly do you do? Because it's one thing, I got a brilliant idea. We're going to make a dating app for everyone that has black dogs. Us, let's go. And I tell you, every
Right.
conference I go to, all I see are dating applications are everywhere. There's got to be thousands of dating applications
dating
right
apps.
now. Here's the thing, guys. Why are you going to make another dating app? What makes you so unique that you're going to stand out? You said you're making a platform yourself. Okay.
Right.
I know
Right.
nothing of this platform, but what is going to differentiate this from a WeWork or a Fiverr or what is it? What is it that is your secret sauce that no one else can sort of steal? But more than that is just at a base level, the idea, the concept, right? The validation of that concept. What makes anyone care? And so with Eeva, it all started when Adrian and her husband bought a home during COVID. So Adrian's background, she was at like the COO level of nonprofit organizations. So she basically had to do a lot of efficiency gains with no money. That's basically the nonprofit world, right? And so here she is at home. And there's this like little old lady walking her through the house and is like, oh, you know, you got to check this twice a year, that you have to call this person. Oh, here's a sock drawer full of business cards and stuff. And but Adrian sat back and was like, man, like, no, this is impossible, right? It's like 2020s. This is not possible. So what did she do? She went and she started to look for solutions, just like all of you. No matter how good your idea is, try and replicate your idea with an existing solution. If you can, then do you really have something? This is before you've done any market validation, anything like that. If you can already do what you're trying to do somewhere else, just stop for a minute and really think about what it is you're trying to do. So this is exactly what we started with. Okay. And this is what I used to consult with process efficiency and improvements. And so we found a bunch of different little things, but nothing that would do everything we wanted. So how do you validate that after? Well, we started to do surveys. We started to interview people. And when you hit around 10,000 people, somewhere around there that you've interviewed, that you've surveyed, that you've taught, like, you know, poked at social media or wherever it is, you know you're on to something. Like, you know you're on to something when you just keep hearing the same complaints over and over and over again. And that is exactly what we did to validate that there was a market here. And not only that, but that there was a market here that no one was tapping into.
So, I mean, the problem is real for sure, right? How did you identify that people are willing to pay for it?
Okay. So first thing we did, we built, I can explain this later on here, but we basically built a company first because it's what we do. So when I went to investors, they're used to see people like, oh, look at my product. It's so amazing. I didn't do anything. We went in and I was like, what are you doing when you go home? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, tell me, you're going to leave here. Where are you going to go? They're like, oh, you got to go pick up the kids. And then my wife told me I got to go pick up the groceries because we forgot to buy the cheese for tonight's meal. I'm like, exactly. The minute I start to talk about that, I've got you. Okay. Like I have got you. So we built from that, from that, we raised money to build a Figma prototype. If I show you the Figma prototype, you will have a heart attack because everyone was like, this is the nicest thing I've ever seen for a Figma. It was so well done. I mean, we haven't built a dark mode into our Figma just to show what could happen. We went to Collision Conference in Toronto, and it exploded. We had lineups of people that were coming to us. How much more validation do you really need? Then we
it's done.
We built a worky prototype. We had a closed beta. Almost 80% said they'd be willing to spend $25 a month. And that blew my mind because we were originally pricing it very, very low. And people were like, yeah, but you guys are doing what 4 other apps I'm using are doing, and you're doing it better. And what was crazy was as part of our closed beta, we had investors secretly, they didn't tell us, that were in the beta. So it was super cool. It was super, super cool.
Very interesting. In fact, we'll come to the investor part. I'm a bit curious about few things here. Now, this problem was, from the ages. Like, no, this is not a new problem. It's been from ages. Now, and people have figured out few things according to their comfort. Now we have smartphones, right? With the phone, we have the calendar. We have Google Calendar. We have another sort of calendars. We have notepads, right? So what people, they generally do is, especially the young people, right? What they do is they tends to note things down, right? They put up things on the calendar. So there's a kind of a behavioral thing here, right? If I see something, what I'll do is I'll take a photo, possibly, and take a note, right? Now, downloading an app for it, right, to help me all these fundamental things, right? I see that there's a kind of a behavioral shift here, right? And I believe that behavioral shift happens gradually, right? And you guys are working on it. So tell us, how do you planning to basically kind of disrupt this?
It's very easy because you're right. Okay. You're 100% right. Here's another thing. Go back to your platform. Everyone who's listening, go back to your ideas. Don't change people's behavior. Embrace people's behavior. What if you didn't have to use another app? Let's say you take that picture, you take that note, Eeva automatically captures the same thing. Bidirectional syncing, right? So use the calendar you're comfortable using. They don't care. Because what makes Eeva powerful is not the note-taking. It's not the calendar. It's the holistic approach that everything that Eeva captures is interconnected with everything else. So for example, if you call a plumber, right? The plumber is already in your existing contacts. So you're going to go and do that. They're going to send you a receipt or whatever for the service that they provide. Right now, all of that, they're independent applications. With Eeva, we automatically will take that receipt, attach it to your fridge. The contact is directly linked. Now, let's say you sell that fridge. You just press a single button and the fridge and all the information, its entire history, automatically gets transferred to that new user. Now, imagine if you start doing that with your whole home, right?
Wow. Understood.
That's what you do. That's the selling feature of Eeva is like, no, you're not going to have to use a new product. You use whatever you want to use because we're connected with everything.
Wonderful. Very interesting though. Because I believe that if you ask the user to use another app for it, it kinds of not solving the problem, but adding more pain to them, right? But what you are doing is you're kind of integrating all these few things into the app itself, where basically they don't have to change their habit. Rather, no, you are enhancing them.
I'm going to show you. See this? That's essentially what we're doing for software side. So when the smartphone came out, it basically, it's a platform where all of these functions live. The user doesn't care. Yes, you want a certain phone and a certain whatever, but at the end of the day, you don't really care. What you care about is that it has all your bells and whistles. That is exactly what we're doing on the software side, where it doesn't matter what tools you use. Eeva will play nice with all these different tools, and it's the consolidation of the information. And trust me, when we flip the on switch, because right now it's just in big, so we're just collecting information. But when we flip that switch, you won't believe
Well,
how this works.
now I have a few questions for you. Now, I know you are a chief of growth, right? And you have few early adopters, right? Now, you have raised fund, right? So how are you looking forward to kind of have these untapped market, right? How are you looking to expand your user base? Please talk about that.
Okay, so because we started with the company, right? The business, the brand. We started with all of that. If anybody goes, check us out. I mean, you'll see. We have a commercial coming up. We have a whole new website that's coming up. We're just waiting. Right now, we're just biding our time. The idea is you have to foster your community. So like the first week we had like 100 people that had signed up with no money in marketing, nothing, zero. And then those people told people, so now we're at over 200 people. And then those people tell more people. And once our commercial comes out, once, you just, the trick is you really have to foster your community. They will sell your product for you. That's it. You just have to make sure that people know that you exist, right? And so that was the beauty of what we've been doing is we had a wait list, which, you have like 1,000 people on your wait list, right? Then you just send them a single email. Hey guys, we're out now. If you want to try us in like early beta, of course they're going to get all kinds of people who are like, oof, it's still too early for me. I'm going to wait until they, really flip the switch and whatnot.
Right.
But it's as simple as that.
So you guys are also iterating it at the back end, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah. We have a development, we have staging and production. So we have 3 different work environments right now. What you're seeing is nowhere near what is actually happening. And this is the idea, right? Is like, if I can get you to use the product right now, and even though it's all manual, there's no artificial intelligence. I mean, we're using just OCR, very basic AI stuff. But if you're already like, okay, I see what you're doing, like, then I've got you. Then that's it. And when I say I got you, it's not a negative. It's, it's a good thing. It's okay. Welcome. And now you all believe where we're going to take it. And that's the thing, is like making it a journey.
So basically you're growing with your audiences, right?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, with your target customers. That is a fantastic idea. I mean, in fact, I'm doing the same thing now, just building a kind of a prototype to put it into the market and see how the customer behaves into it and how these early adopters does the thing, and then reiterating and building on it.
Okay, so here's just another little thing, okay, that's super important. Remember that you are building a product for someone else. So many founders and entrepreneurs build a product for them. It's not about you. It's about them. So right now, we are developing and ensuring we have product market fit. That is the number one thing that we're doing right now. It's not about like, we're not spying on people or any of that stuff. Like we want to see, is this helpful? And if it comes back and people are like, oh, the worst, but oh my gosh, your calendar is amazing, then you pivot to what people want. If you fail to pivot, you will die. Like your company will not survive. And I'm telling you, you have to give the people what they want. And I know someone's going to think, yeah, well, like Steve Jobs, and then people don't know what they want. But the truth is, people do know what they want when they experience, the first car. They may not have been able to tell you, oh, I want a car, or I want an iPhone, or they might not be able to do that. But I guarantee if you go far enough back with Henry Ford, the people would have said, I want a faster horse. They still knew what they wanted. They wanted to go from point A to point B quicker. With the iPhone, they wanted one device that could do the core feature set of a laptop, but in my pocket, in this small little type of thing. So you need to listen to what your consumers are telling you, and don't be arrogant. Take your ego and just get rid of your ego, because your ego can kill your whole company.
Now coming down to your fundraising part.
Sure.
Okay. Because founders, they need to have the fund in their account to kind of take it from 0 to 1, 1 to 10. Cool. So now you are pre-revenue, right? That's what I understand. So, and you have raised pre-seed. I think it's 1.1 million. That's what I saw on the link.
So that hasn't been. Where did you see that?
On LinkedIn.
On my profile?
No, on LinkedIn page. Eva's LinkedIn page.
Oh, okay. No, we haven't publicly disclosed what we have, but let's just say it's almost 2 times that.
Help us with one thing. Now, you're pre-revenue, right? Mm-hmm. You have few early adopters, right? Your problem is real. Now, how do you go to investors, right? How do you convince them? Because I believe that it's all about convincing them. Mm-hmm. How do you convince them to pump in money in your venture?
I can't tell you. Okay. So here, okay. The truth is there is no one answer to this. So here's what I can tell you. Okay. Number one, no one is investing in your product. That's number one. Nobody. Nobody cares what you are building. So this is why Airbnb, Google, all these companies, you know how many people told them no? Like, not interested. Yeah, goodbye, kids. Like, nope. Get used to hearing nope a lot. Okay. They're investing in you. Now, that can hurt, guys. I'm telling you, it can hurt, because you can take it personally. You're like, well, Jarrod said that they're investing in me, not my product. But yet they spoke all about the product. So is it really me? When you come out of the office or the Zoom call or whatever, and you sit there, you're like, ooh, like, was it really me? Like, do I, like, you know? The truth is, guys, here's the thing. Number one, of course, they're going to care about like the concept of the idea, but the truth is that's not why they're going to give you money. They're going to give you money because of you. You need to walk up there and say, I already have $10 million. Act like it. Act like you already secured Google as your client. Okay. Don't lie. I'm not saying to lie. I'm saying internal.
The confidence.
Exactly. Don't be
conviction,
arrogant. Right. Don't be arrogant, but be confident. The very first time I went to an investor, I had Eeva shirts printed out, our colors, all the banners, the logos, the thing on the back. It was like create order from chaos. When the investors saw us for the very first time, remember, first time out, they were like, how long have you guys been in business? And we were like, 2 weeks. And they were like, how you look so put together. Like they were just blown away that we had nothing to show. We basically just had pitch deck and the branding, and they were just blown away. And this is the authenticity, genuine, and confidence. If you do not exert those things, you need to have other people watch you. Don't pitch to them. Have them watch you pitch to a stranger. And these people, I don't have a better word, so I'll just say this. They have to love you, okay? Like they have to be real with you to tell you that sucked. Like they have to be able, and the thing is, like, too many founders go to like their parents and their cousins and their friends and they pitch to them. Guys, that's useless. Get those people, but get them to watch you with someone else, and if they really do care about you and they tell you the truth, you might not be the right guy to pitch, and that's okay. And you have to be okay with that. Adrian, okay? If Adrian was here right now, when Adrian first started, she could not raise money. And the reason why we're both convinced is because 95% of investors are men. And what did I tell you? Eeva is female driven in concept, in persona, in pain point. So many men, I'm not kidding when I say this, they literally said, well, that's why I got married. And I was like, I couldn't believe, I was like, ouch, I can't believe you just said that. And so Adrian invited me to breakfast one day and was like, basically, I could use your help. She's like, you're really good at connecting with people and showing them, like what's what. And we were able to raise nearly $2 million.
Wonderful.
On an idea.
Awesome. A lot of learning today.
Okay. Hope so. That would be good. I do want to add one other thing.
Yeah, please.
With the investors, there are a lot of different networks, like for angels and things like that. Guys, protect your equity. Do whatever it takes to protect your equity. Because if you give away the whole company at day one, if you make it to Series A, D, whatever, I'm not kidding, you're going to walk away with a $500,000 check. That's it. And everyone else is going to walk away with 50 million. So protect your equity as if it's sacred, because the truth is, it is.
Great advice for everyone, for sure. Wonderful. So we are at the end of the conversation. Just one last question, Jarrod. Give us one unfiltered advice that you received from your mentor that has helped you throughout.
Don't be scared. Okay. It's going to sound really easy, but don't be scared. When opportunity knocks, I'm not joking. I will say this till the day I die. Answers the door. You have no idea what you are truly capable of. And so at the end of the day, have confidence in yourself and realize that you're not going to be perfect at everything. And that's okay. It's totally fine.
Great. Thank you so much. It was great conversation. Great to have you. And for all our viewers, I'm going to put the link for the Eeva right in the description. Go out and check. It's an amazing app. And I believe it's really solving a great problem. So
thank you. And I will also say to all of your users, my last comment, please feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. I help students my whole career. So if anyone would like some advice or anything like that, I'm always willing to talk.
Great. Wonderful. With that, we'll conclude. Thank you so much for everyone to watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next episode.